Okay, today's yoga class will begin laying down. So find your way to a comfortable starting position, grabbing any extra comfort items on your way. I'm gonna have a little pillow under my head and turn my fan down a little bit here. So you might start in Shavasana with your arms and legs outstretched, or any other variation that comes to mind. You could have bent knees. Your arms could reach up and overhead. You could put your legs up on a chair or your couch or up a wall if you want. Keep it simple or get fancy. Let's find out. As you settle in, watch as your body responds to this position of laying down. Perhaps, depending on your day, maybe you have been standing or sitting or walking for the majority of your day today. So coming back to this restful place of lying in a supine position. I always feel like sighing upon laying down is nice for me. Feel free to try that if you'd like. Taking a few minutes here to breathe, expand your breath, and just do a little investigating. What's going on with you? How are you feeling? How's your body and mind? What else arises when you give yourself some space to reflect? And noticing if there are any spaces, muscles, or beyond any areas that feel tense, or maybe sometimes it can feel like your breath or your energy kind of like gets stuck around there. Something's kind of mucking up the system, gooping up the system. If you find anything like that, see if your awareness and your own comforting vibes can sort that out even a little bit. If your body is bracing against any injuries or soreness or anything like that, see if here in a hopefully super comfortable position, see if you can relax the muscles or joints around any of those areas, trusting that you're supported. No sudden movements. You are exploring in a safe and kind way. Drawing the air low and slow. Feel as your belly expands, your rib cage widens with each inhale. Creating more space throughout the chest, the torso, and exhaling just a little longer, maybe a second or two longer. Continuing like that for a few more rounds here. Throwing in a sigh any time you want. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention for today's practice, feel free to bring something or someone to mind now. And throughout today's class, we will weave in 3 rounds of Om, 1 lying down, 1 standing up, and 1 seated. So we'll be in different positions for each one. So just kind of marking somehow in your mind, like noting how it feels in each different position. Let's do our first round of Om now. Feel free to chant along or hum or just listen to me. So taking a breath to prepare. Oh. Whenever your Om naturally diminishes, coming back to a steady pace of breath, noticing any responses through your experience, your body, your mind. And beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Let your head rock to one side and then to the other. A couple times back and forth. We'll do a gentle neck stretch here next. So letting your right ear come over toward your right shoulder. Set your head back down comfortably. If it feels okay to you, wrap your right hand up and around so you're kind of grabbing hold of your left ear or your left side of your head and just gently stretch, pulling your head over to the right, reaching through that left arm a little bit. See if you can sense into the stretch throughout that left side of the neck and maybe even all the way down. Right now I'm feeling like a nerve sensation down to my shoulder. Maybe there are different ways to enjoy this, maybe rocking your head a little bit there. When you're ready, releasing and slow motion, switching sides, left ear, just reaching toward that left shoulder, bringing that left arm up and around, grabbing hold of the right side of your head or cheek or ear, and gently pulling your head toward the left. Experiment with this opening, with stretching through the right side of the neck for a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, find your way back to center. Let's reach long for a long body stretch. Ooh, maybe a yawn. It just always wants to come out there. All right, once you've got all the little stretches out here, let's move into some bridge poses. Breathing bridge pose today. So bending your knees, standing your feet up on the mat. Option to put a pillow or a block between your knees if you'd like. Otherwise, just leave it as is. We'll tuck the shoulder blades together beneath the back. Press your hands, elbows, and upper shoulders down into the mat. With an inhale, press down while you lift the hips up. So you feel this duality of downward pressing and upward lifting. Tuck your chin at the top here. Let's stay for about one more round of breath. With your exhale, start to lower back down. So we'll spend about 2 breaths lifted as we continue, going at your own pace, inhaling to rise. Stay lifted for your exhale. One more breath in and exhale, lower down. One last round of this. Inhale, bridge. Exhale here. One last breath in and exhale, lower. Hug your knees in toward your chest. Give your low back a little bit of massaging pressure with some circling or rocking. Oh, at the end of the day for me, this just feels so relieving. especially right here for me if I'm standing too much or even sitting too much in a day. It's like it kind of gathers there at the sacrum or low back. And then keeping your knees up here at center, feet will still be lifted. Let's bring the arms out to either side. We'll do some active twisting. So we'll inhale here at the center. With your exhale, start to dip and twist your knees toward the right, but don't go all the way. Just staying here for the rest of the inhale. And then inhale, use your abdominal muscles to bring the knees back up to center. And then exhale, let your knees dip and twist toward the left. Continue like this for a few rounds, inhaling as you rise, exhaling as you twist. And maybe you can smooth it out a little bit here. You're inhaling, your knees are moving to the center. Maybe you can time it just right so that when your exhale comes, you don't even have to pause at the top. You're just going on over to the other side. Knowing that we started on the right, make sure to end on the left. And let your feet find the floor. We will meet up in tabletop next. So take your sweet time coming up to a seat or maybe rocking up and down your spine a couple of times. Eventually finding your way to hands and knees. Let's find a breath in here, finding cow pose, lowering your belly, lifting your gaze and your tailbone. Exhale, cat, rounding the spine up, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone. Keep going now. Inhale the cow. Exhale, cat. Finding your rhythm. All right, let's pick up that right leg, stick it straight out behind you there. And to the best of your ability, hugging in your core, let's see if we can keep the upper body more or less still as we bring that right leg way out toward the right side and then step your foot down. So the right foot ends up off to the right. So start to find a little bit of rocking here. We're reaching the seat back and then forward a couple times, stretching through that inner right leg. You can continue right here or walk your hands back and then come to stand up on that knee. Let's reach the hands up and overhead here. And exhale, side bend to the right toward that bent leg. So your right hand can come to the leg, left arm, reaching up and over. Feel into that right side. Now, if it feels too squashed or crunchy, think about creating a little more length rather than side bend. So length all the way down from your left knee, all the way up to the left fingers. One more breath in here, maybe leaning back slightly. And then exhale, lower your hands back to the floor. We'll see about picking up that right leg off on the side, bringing it back behind you, and then setting it back down. It's pretty challenging, so just try your best there. All right, let's switch sides. We'll straighten that left leg out behind you. Engage through the abdominals and see about reaching that left leg out toward the left side with little to no movement through the rest of your body. And then set your left foot down. Again, finding that rocking, that inner leg stretch forward and back a couple times. And continuing to work with that, or walking your hands closer and then rising up onto that knee. With an inhale, reach hands high. With an exhale, side bend to the left. Take a few breaths, checking in with that left side. If it's too scrunched up, just thinking more about that lengthening instead of just side bending. Lengthening all the way from the right fingertips down to your right knee. One more breath here, maybe slightly leaning back. And then find your hands back to the floor. Tighten up the core again. See if you can lift your left foot and bring it back behind you before setting it down. Extended child's pose will be next. Knees heading out wide, big toes touching behind you. Maybe rocking a couple of times or settling into your down or your child's pose when you're ready. You can always come down to forearms or walk your hands out toward the top of your mat. Let's find that low and slow belly breathing again here. Almost like you're creating more space for energy to fill you back up. More space for your muscles, your joints, everything to just have all the room everything needs. And return here anytime throughout practice if you'd like a moment. When you're ready, rising up to tabletop once more. Let's find our blocks and then head to downward dog. Hands up on blocks, curling the toes under, lifting the tailbone high. Find your breath first and foremost. Commit to your breath. And then maybe pedaling out your legs, swaying, twisting in any which way, playing, singing, jumping. However you want to explore downward dog, it is up to you. Just so long as you continue to flow with your breath. And then bending your knees, look up toward your hands when you're ready. Walk or step your way to the top for ragdoll forward fold. Let's start with really extra bent knees here. So you're just really bending your knees. Feel how much your back can kind of drape over your knees. Lots of space through the back. And then if you want, maybe straightening your legs, swaying, or finding some kind of combination of all of the above. And are you still with your breath? Start to make your way up to standing, bending your knees a little deeper, maybe walking your hands up your legs. Do what feels natural up at the top. Sometimes a little back can feel nice. Maybe some shaking here, like we normally do. Maybe lifting and lowering your heels a couple of times, or swinging the arms or shoulders. Maybe a little willow tree twisting. And once you feel the energy running through you, you start to find stillness at the top of the mat. Take a look at your toes, pick them up, spread them out, and just hold them there for a second. Sometimes it helps to spread your fingers out too. See if you can get a little bend of your knees so they're not locking, toes spreading, and then set them down. Nice solid base there. With an inhale, let's reach both hands high. Upward salute. Exhale, open arm twist toward the right. Stay here for a breath in and out. Inhale, come back up to center, unwinding. Exhale, open arm twist toward the left. Staying here for a full round of breath. Inhaling, noticing how that takes you slightly out of the twist. And exhaling, maybe you can twist just a hint more. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, creating a nice flat back. So hands sliding all the way up to the thighs. Exhale, lower back down. We're gonna do something a little different here. With your next inhale, let's see if we can take the knee back up with us for one-legged mountain pose. So I encourage you to go really slow, kind of figuring it out as you go. Are you gonna grab hold as you're coming up, or maybe up at the top? You can always hold on to something for support as you rise. Always good to do novel movements with the body. And we'll either keep the knee straight out in front of us or start to open the right knee out toward the right side. Option to try letting go of the arms, seeing if you can keep your knee lifting using the strength of your hip flexors and muscles. Bring that knee back in toward the center. Breath in. Exhale. Step that right foot back. Bring your hands down to blocks. One big breath here. And then exhale, three-legged down dog. Left leg reaches high behind you. Big breath in, feel your strength. Exhale, bring that foot back down. Transition up here to high plank. Then lower your knees and your chest. Moving those blocks out of the way. Untuck your toes, plant the tops of your feet down, press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, baby cobra. Lifting head and chest. And exhale, slowly back down. Inhale, baby cobra, rising up. Seeing if we can stay in flow. So we're not really like pausing at the top. We are exhaling and coming back down. Seeing if we can match the length of breath to the pose. One more time, inhaling, rising up, baby cobra. Feel free to press into your hands just a little bit more if that feels safe to you. And then exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up to tabletop. And exhale to whatever variation of child's pose you'd like now. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up, tabletop, grabbing blocks if you want, and exhaling to downward dog. Inhale when you arrive. And exhale, two more breaths here. In and out. Last breath in and out. Inhale, bend both of your knees, look up toward your hands. Exhale, step just your right foot forward. And then start to walk your hands all the way around the left side, all the way to the back of your mat. So you're pivoting on that left foot. And when you get to the back, We can either have a block underneath the right hand here or right hand on the floor. Bend into your left knee. You can even hold on to the top of your left knee. Twist toward the left. Maybe reaching your left hand high. You can always come down onto the right knee if that helps your practice. Breathing, reaching, feeling your strength here. One more breath in. And out. Lower your hand back down. Walk your way around to the top of your mat once more. Pivoting on your toes. And in your own way, stepping up to the top of your mat. Maybe one big step with that left foot or a couple. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, upward salute. Exhale, hands down to heart center, samastitihi. Spend a little time with that space, that timeless space in you. Remembering your intention here. What is it that you're seeking or cultivating in your life? Let's take a clearing breath, inhaling through the nose. Sigh it out. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, open arm twist toward the right. Staying here for your inhale, noticing that slight unwinding, and then exhale, twisting back to the right. Inhale, unwind, reach high. Exhale, open arm twist toward the left. Staying here for that full breath in and that full breath out. Inhale, come back up to the top, unwinding, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Breathe like normal here as you begin to rise up, taking that left knee up with you at some point, one-legged mountain pose at the top. You can grab hold of that left knee if you'd like. Breathing, staying here and balancing, or starting to reach that left knee out, opening that left hip out toward the left side. Option to try letting go of that knee, seeing if you can really muscle that knee up, keeping it lifted and bringing it back to the center. Breathe in here to prepare. Exhale, step just that left foot back and bring your hands down to your blocks. Take a breath in and exhale, three-legged down dog. So you can kind of spring off of that right foot or walk your right foot out toward the right edge of your mat and then lift up behind you. And exhale, shifting forward to high plank as you set your foot down. Inhale and exhale, knees lower, chest lowers. Queuing up for a couple more rounds of our baby cobra. Inhale, lifting, strengthening. Exhale, lower. Keeping it flowing, kind of like a circular motion. We're inhaling as we rise, little to no hang time at the top as we're exhaling as we lower. One more round at your own pace. Resting for a breath when you get back to the bottom. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale, sliding back to child's pose, whichever variation you'd like. Couple breaths, sending your awareness and your breath to your mid or low back, or wherever you feel you can make a little bit of a difference, create a little bit of space. One more breath here. When you're ready, inhale, tabletop. Grab those blocks if you're still using those, and exhale to downward dog. Breathing in and out. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath in and out. Inhale, bend both knees, look up toward your hands. With your exhale, step just your left foot forward, just as far as it might go. Take one of those blocks with you as you walk your hands over and around that right side, pivoting on your toes and heels till you get to the back of your mat. Bend extra deep into that right knee. Set your block down for your left hand. Press your right hand into your thigh as you twist toward the right. Press even more into that left hand so your left shoulder is buoyant and supported, possibly reaching your right hand high. You can always set your left knee down if you're still keeping up with the lefts and the rights. 1 more big breath here, feel strong. And then exhale, bring that hand back down. Walk your way back to the top of your mat, circling the hands around and up. And then step your right foot to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Creating that moment of sacred space. Let's take a clearing breath followed by our next round of Om. Of course, we're standing now, so just noticing if you can tell any differences from laying down. So clearing breath, then our Om, breathing in, sighing it out. Preparing for Om now, inhale. When you're ready, blinking your eyes open if they were closed, letting your hands come down. Let's find our way right into a squat. So find your way right to the squat of your choice if you know it. Otherwise, maybe taking some time to build a little seat to catch you at the bottom. We'll stand our feet out a little wider, then hip width distance, toes slightly out, heels slightly in. We can bend our knees and rest the hands on the knees here. Maybe enjoying a couple little twists, dipping each shoulder down to the center for a moment or two. It's a great place to stay and enjoy. Otherwise, you might lower even farther down to Malasana Yogi Squat. Make sure this feels kind to your body. Don't force it. If it's a little too much, you could come back up and maybe grab some more height. Build yourself a nice little squatting spot. Pressing your elbows into the inside of the knees and puffing your chest up. We're heading down to a seat next in case you want to head there early. Otherwise, take 3 more breaths. Start to make your way down to a seat. Moving the blocks to the side for now. Lower right down to the floor. So coming to your back, Bringing your knees up in with you, a little bit more of that relieving, massaging pressure there by circling the knees. We're rocking. For me, I can just tell like such a huge difference doing this at the near the end of a class versus the start. It just feels like, wow, things are moving, things are feeling more free. Okay, setting your feet down. Bring your hands out to the sides for support. Press your right foot down into the floor as you start to lift and straighten or almost straighten that left leg. Circle your left ankle at the top a couple times both ways. Wiggle your toes and see if you feel like you can have control of each of your toes. Maybe not individually, but are they all online today? Okay. Choosing a short word of your choice, using your foot as like your paintbrush today, make a nice big letters. So I'm gonna just draw my name today. You could write a different word or maybe your own name. You could keep this really small and just move through your ankle, or maybe your whole leg wants to move and create your shapes. Add a little exclamation point at the end, and then rest your left ankle just behind that right knee, figure 4. Take some time here, maybe rocking your knees side to side, maybe pressing the left hand into your right thigh, your right knee a little bit. Could reach to interlace your fingers behind that right thigh or on top of your right shin if you're very flexible. If that doesn't quite feel restful, it can be really nice to grab a block and kind of shimmy it under your right foot so you're in like a halfway. You're not quite binding there with the hands, but you're taking it just one step up from having your foot on the floor. And then setting your right foot back down if it was lifted. We'll keep the figure 4 legs and find a little bit of twisting side to side. So letting your knees kind of sway one way and then the other. And then at the top, we'll straighten that left leg back up. Give it a wiggle and then set it back down. Switching sides, the right leg reaches high this time. Press into your left foot even more for support. Circle out your right ankle. Check in with your right toes, giving them all a wiggle, seeing if you can move them if they're online today. And then pick a word, maybe your last name or middle name or nickname. Just write that word with your paintbrush foot. Add sound effects if you wish. And then add that exclamation point at the end because it's just fun. And then whenever you're done with that word, bending your right knee and resting your right ankle in figure 4 on that left thigh or behind your left knee. Spend some time in any or all of the variations from the first side, maybe pressing your hand into your right knee or thigh, maybe stepping your left foot up onto a block for that kind of in between position. I think that feels great. And you really don't have to strain through your upper body at all. But if it does feel good, maybe reaching to interlace the fingers behind your left thigh this time. sensation. You could try flexing both of your feet and seeing if that helps you in any way. Taking your time, letting this unfold. And eventually setting your left foot back on the floor if it was lifted, and then finding some twisting, letting your knees rock and twist one way and then the other. Could go back and forth a couple times or take it really slow and maybe just go once on each side. When you feel you've had enough of that twist, come back to center, press that left foot down as you once again lift and straighten or almost straighten that right leg. Put a little kick or jiggle if it wants it, and then set your foot back down. Take a moment if it feels right to you to close your eyes and listen into your body. Are there any areas, muscle groups, joints, etc., breathing styles, anything that just arises? Feel free to move in those ways. Finishing up any part of that physical practice. Could be a yoga pose or it could just be a made-up stretch. And eventually making your way to some kind of resting position. Possibly like how you started today, maybe a little different. I always like to go with something under the head. Extra special days, having a little something under the knees. I think it feels so good to like tuck your neck in, like if you have a pillow or something, just kind of like fluff it up underneath your neck so you just feel like hugged and supported. Maybe a couple of sighs. And as you arrive, take a quick journey through the senses, starting with your sense of hearing. Listening into any sounds you can hear inside or outside of your space, inside or outside of your body. And even if your eyes are closed, let's notice what we can see behind closed eyes. If anything, maybe some abstract colors, shapes, shadows, static, darkness, or beyond. Noticing your sense of smell next. Is there any scents or smells you can catch a whiff of? And moving on to your sense of taste next, roll your tongue all the way around the outside and the inside of each of your rows of teeth. Seeing if you can catch any flavors or tastes. And settling into the sense of touch or feel. What are you feeling? You feel the floor or props beneath you? Do you feel any particular part of the body or anything that you can kind of sense even outside of your body? And now experimenting with kind of lingering in this space of all senses activated. Can you be awake and aware enough to take in your hearing, the sounds around you, the visuals, the smells, the tastes, the feelings? Opening your senses up, opening yourself up in all directions. Not labeling each thing you find, but just cultivating a sense of openness and heightening of senses. And in contrast, let's try to retract a little bit. Instead of sensing outward, let's kind of retreat inward to perhaps the cave of the heart, breathing and seeing or being your awareness from the heart center. If you're feeling tired and you just feel like resting here, that's totally fine. Just kind of shape your space and time here how you will. If you'd like, you can kind of move back and forth from that sense of expansion and awareness outward, back into that nice inner peace, that inner stillness. You can kind of, I think it's called titrating when you go between two, kind of like an activation and a stilling kind of experience, maybe titrating there between both of those experiences in a way that feels as effortless as possible. So there'll be a little effort, but no need to try too hard. Sometimes it can be so rewarding and enjoyable to use our senses, exploring all of the beautiful, fun things that Earth has to offer us, all the gifts. Other times it can be useful to retract a little and come back to your core. There's a lot going on, or it's common to feel overstimulated, especially if you are highly sensitive or neurodivergent, etc. Sometimes tuning, kind of like softening out or blurring out the outside senses can be just as useful. Practicing each a little more for the last minute or two. You are welcome to continue your experimentation and rest here, or return anytime you wish. When you start to feel ready to reawaken your body, maybe wiggling fingers and toes. Continuing to move in intuitive, natural ways. Maybe heading into a long body stretch or a yawn or something else entirely. Eventually choosing a side and rolling it into the fetal position on either side. Taking a nice full round of breath when you get there, trying to be in no hurry at all. Still right here. Eventually using the help of your hands to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Joining hands at heart center, elongating your spine. Let's take that final round of Om now. Seated. We'll take a clearing breath first and then our round of Om. So in through the nose, side out, onto our Om. Inhale. Om. Steady your breath again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. Let's take a little bow forward in gratitude to this practice and to seal our class. Peace. All right, thank you everyone for practicing today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you have any thoughts or requests for future classes, and hope to see you again soon.